Hello, friends. I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings. Hello, friends. This is Paul, and of course, this is the Nature Wanderer podcast. I'd like to welcome you today to my front porch of my house. Yes, I'm in the wilds of my own yard. And today I want to talk a little bit first about the eclipse. I hope everyone had a chance to see the total eclipse that we just had in the United States. I unfortunately had cloudy, overcast skies. It's actually cloudy today. We're supposed to get a little bit of rain. And we had the dark, gloomy, overcast skies because they were actually calling for some rain that day, chance of rain. And it was supposed to clear up in the afternoon. The weathermen were just really trying to get everyone's hopes up in Western New York and saying, hey, it's going to clear out this afternoon. Hopefully it comes early enough where we'll be able to see totality at least. He knew it wasn't going to clear up, for the entire eclipse, but he figured we might be able to have a chance to see the totality and maybe the end of the eclipse, but he was trying to get everyone's spirits up. And my wife and I are sitting on our porch. We were in touch with our kids because our daughter lives up in Amherst, about an hour north of us, and our son is about an hour and a half northeast of us in Rochester. And so we were texting back and forth. Anyone got clear skies yet? Anyone got clear skies? So we're going to go to whatever location, whether it was here or there or, wherever, to get as much of a glimpse as we could. But all of us kept, saying, nope, still cloudy, pretty dense, gray, like rain-type clouds. So we really kind of had the feeling that, nope, we're not going to get to see this. We're not going to get to see this once-in-a-lifetime event. Not going to get to see this event that, is supposed to be so magical. But we sat out on our porch anyhow, our patio. My wife and I just sat and we, were just talking. We kept watching the skies and just waiting and watching the clock. It's like, yeah, we're getting close to totality, getting close to when the eclipse is supposed to reach its peak. And it's like we just were convinced we're not going to get to see it. And all of a sudden, it started getting dark. And it was so quick. I mean, it was just like, it took a couple minutes. That was it. And it was almost like night. We saw in the west the sunset, the redness off on the horizon, and everything got really dark at that point. And the songbirds they were not at our feeder anymore. They all flew off into the woods and they went quiet. They weren't singing their songs, and it was almost like an eerie thing. And then the spring peepers in the pond across the street from us, they started getting loud and started, their calls, their peeping, and quite a chorus of them. And then we started hearing the geese at the pond across the street, and they started getting loud. And all of a sudden we heard a barred owl calling from our woods. And it was just so awesome. It's like all of a sudden you went from day to sudden night. And this, everything got dark, and my wife and I were like, wow, this is just amazing. I grabbed my phone, I started doing a video of it getting dark, and all of a sudden my wife is like, oh, look up. And I'm like, I scanned up with my phone, my camera, and there, through this tiny little break in the clouds, there was the totality. There was the eclipse. And we didn't have our glasses on, our eclipse glasses, because it was so cloudy. And it was at totality that we had seen it, this break in the clouds. And so we didn't even need our glasses for that either. Because you're allowed to look at it during totality. Won't damage your eyes. And then, the clouds came over and they covered it up. So we got to see probably about, maybe 10 seconds of the total eclipse. And then it was kind of off and on after that. We kept getting these small breaks every minute or two. And we would see, the moon moving away. And at one point it's like, oh, the sky is smiling at us. Actually, you could see just the lower, like a crescent smile showing where the moon was moving away from in front of the sun. And it's like, the sky's smiling at us. And, it got light and everything went back to normal with the wildlife. The songbirds started calling. We didn't hear the barred owl then. And the peepers, they kept going, but not as loud. They quieted down quite a bit. So, it was kind of a really magical moment. And we started, hearing stories from, our kids were texting us, and they got to see it too through that little, break in the clouds where they were too. So it was almost like nature was saying, hey, sorry guys, didn't mean to have all these clouds, but they got to be somewhere, the system has to move through. And tell you what, I'll give you a little peek of this magical moment. And, even if we didn't see it, it would still have been really awesome, just the way it got dark and then light again. Later, had a chance to see, this was just a couple of days ago, I got to see look at a map of the United States, and it was of the Airbnbs in the U.S. and their occupancy. And of course, on the map, you have all these little gray spots, and then you have the red spots. Now, the red spots were like total occupancy. In other words, there was no room at the end. Total occupancy was in red, and there was this red stripe going from Texas all the way up to Maine across the U.S. That's where people were coming to see this eclipse. I saw a report on the news about Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls had thousands of people come from all over the world, and not just to see the falls. They have this happen all the time. Whenever I go there to see Niagara Falls, I'm hearing all different languages there. So people were coming to the falls, Niagara Falls, from all over the world. But this time it wasn't just to see the falls, it was to see the entire eclipse. So people were coming from all over the world to see this magical, once-in-a-lifetime event. And they were spending a lot of money, a lot of time planning, a lot of time traveling just to see this eclipse. I was actually seeing on the news, they were interviewing people from at different locations, from different parts of the world, different parts of the country, who came and see this, even though in Western New York we had cloud cover. And they were asking them, was it worth it? I remember one interview was at Knox Farm State Park in East Aurora, and they had an event going on. They had hundreds of people there, and they were interviewing some of these people, and they were like, oh, it was a life-changing experience, and they just, like us, got to see a little bit of the totality, little pieces of the eclipse, not the whole thing. So it was just so magical for everyone. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And once again, is it? Doesn't have to be. There's eclipses happen all the time. I was actually thinking, I was talking to some friends of mine last night. I went to a fundraiser for a local environmental group last night. It was an art auction. Earth Spirit Education, great guys. They do great work in Western New York, teaching kids and adults about nature. And I was there talking to some friends of mine. One of my friends runs a podcast. I'll give him a free promo here. Great podcast. I listen to it all the time. The Nature Guides. So the Nature Guide It's a great podcast. Look for it. It's on all the usual platforms, just like the Nature Wanderer podcast. But I was talking to my friends about the eclipse, because, I mean, everyone's talking about it. And I was talking to them about, our experience, and they were telling about their experience. And, this other couple that were at the table, they were talking, they chimed in, and they were talking about their experience. And all of us were talking about, even though we didn't get to see it, it's still a magical thing. But we're also talking about, did you know it's in Spain next year? They're having a total eclipse. And my friend chimed in and he says, it's also, it's going, that same eclipse is going through Iceland. And I'm like, my brother lives in Iceland. Maybe I should make a trip to Iceland and see it. So I'm actually thinking, it's like, I'd travel. I'd spend the money to see it again. Maybe get a view of the whole thing. So this is what I mean. It's like, can be more than once in a lifetime, but it's a special event. Doesn't happen every single day. And I want to talk about something that does, and that's why I'm awake at 6 o'clock in the morning listening to all the birds call. I was hearing black-capped chickadee, waking up and doing its mating call. Now the sparrows are waking up here, and I was getting all these different birds calling. This is their active time, early in the morning. Yeah, it's real early in the morning. It's a Sunday morning. Why would I be getting up this early on a Sunday morning? I don't have to be at church yet. It's like, I did it because Sundays around here are so peaceful. I don't have as much traffic going by, and I'm here to experience a once-in-a-lifetime event that happens every day. I know that sounds strange, but it's a good question for you here. When was the last time you got up and watched the sunrise? When was the last time you watched the sunrise? You purposely got up to watch a sunrise, or stopped to watch a sunrise. I mean, some of you, maybe you get up early, head to work, you have to be there real early in the morning, and, as you're driving along, the sun starts coming up, and, you notice it's in your brain, it's noticed that it's getting lighter. Did you stop? Did you stop to watch the sunrise? I've done that before where I've been on my way to work, and it's like the sun's coming up over the horizon. I pull over to the side of the road, and I just sometimes get out of my car and just watch the sunrise. When was the last time you watched the sunset? I was just in Rincon, which is in Puerto Rico. It's on the west side of Puerto Rico, and it's known for its sunsets. I've got a bluebird in my driveway here. Sorry for the pause. He's out getting his breakfast. 2 bluebirds. There's a female and male bluebird. That's awesome. Sign of spring. They're mating. So I've got the nest box cleaned out for them. So I got 2 bluebirds. They're getting all the bugs off of my driveway early morning here. But anyhow, when I was in Rincon, I think is how it's pronounced. When I was in Rincon, they're known as a surfing community, but they're also known for their sunsets because they're on the west coast. And my wife and I, it's like, okay, we're here in Rincon, known for its sunsets. We got to go watch the sunset every once in a while. And just about every day, every chance we got, we were headed to the beach. We went down to the beach and sat there and watched the sunset. And it wasn't just us. It was other people, too. And they weren't there to go swimming. They weren't there to build sandcastles, because they showed up about the same time as we did or shortly after, and they had their beach chairs, and they just set them up and sat there and just watched the sunset go down. And after the redness of the sunset went away, then they would pack up and head on out just like we did. So it's like it was an event that a lot of people don't get to see. I'm going to ask again, when was the last time you saw a sunrise or a sunset? Most people see sunsets. How many vacation pictures do you have of sunsets? Or sunrises? I know I've got a bunch of them. When my wife and I went out west, we actually went to Arches National Park, and we went there in the evening, they're another place that's known for, sunrises, sunsets. People will go there because it's a great place, nice horizon there, and it's a great place to watch a sunset or a sunrise. And they actually have, I think it's on their website, they'll have locations. Here's the best place to watch, and you'll get a crowd of people there just watching the sunrises or sunsets. So we went there for a sunset the one day. Another day we went to one of the other national parks in the area, and we watched a sunset there too. We wanted to watch a sunrise at another national park when we went to another area out west, but it was cloudy that morning, so we never did make it to that one. But people do this. They make it a purpose to go see this. Our local weather station, or our local news station, I should say, they actually have people sending them pictures. They have an app on their phone for their news station where you can get the news, you can get the weather right on this app. And they also have where you can send in news stories. But they also have a place that's like, yeah, send in your pictures. So people do. And they will take those pictures, not all of them, but they'll find a picture, and at the news, when they're doing the news, they'll actually have it at the beginning of the news, and they'll show one of the pictures. And I'm going to say, probably like 9 out of 10 times, the picture that they post on the news is a sunrise or a sunset. Everyone loves watching these. They love seeing the pictures. It's a beautiful thing when the sky turns red or orange, and you get the colors there. It's not something you see all the time. So, I'm here watching the sunrise right now while I'm talking, and we've got a lot of clouds here in the sky right now, but I can still see the colors coming up. I'm going to miss the actual sunrise, but I can see the colors coming up out of the sky. So, the photographers. I've done photography courses, classes, and I love doing nature photography. I don't do a lot of it, but I do it more for my own pleasure. There's what photographers call the golden hour, and it's before sunrise, right after sunrise, and right before sunset. And it's when the sky is the sky is just a magical color. It's golden color. And it's a great time to get your nature photographs. Never take a picture midday. There's no shadow. It's kind of a dull, flat picture. But you've got this golden hour where you've got just the right colors in the sky. And some photographers will use that for doing portraiture. If you ever have professional photography done, outdoor photography, sometimes they'll ask you, hey, let's do it right in the evening, and they're trying to pick the golden hour because you get these beautiful hues, these beautiful colors. Oh, the crows are calling. So how many times, do people see this? A lot of times I'm going to say they don't, because people don't make a point to. It's something that happens every day, that magical thing that happens every single day. And you may be wondering, it's just a sunrise. It's magical. If you're listening in the background here, the birds are calling. This is their active time. It's a time where most people maybe are asleep. They're still in bed. They're not up and awake. And so, it's quiet. It's peaceful. And then you get this sun coming up. It's a little chilly this morning, and that sun, when it rises, you can feel the heat. You can almost feel the energy of it. And it usually, I don't know about you, but when I see a sunrise or a sunset, it gives me this feeling, this magical feeling, almost like an energy. The sun's breaking through the clouds right now. Yeah, I can actually feel its warmth. So, it's beautiful. I actually have the silhouette of my willow tree in front of it. So, it's just a magical time. So I'm encouraging everybody, don't wait for, a once-in-a-lifetime event. I mean, the next time we're going to get a total eclipse coming over my neck of the woods here is in 20 years. I plan on still being alive, and I'll probably see it, but hopefully we don't get cloud cover. But people will travel just to see that. But will they take the time to get out of bed in the morning to watch a sunrise? Yeah, sure, you can watch sunset too. I mean, I encourage you to do that. That's a magical moment too. But I still think that the sunrise is even more magical. I mean, it just gives you that this is the way I want to start my day. The day is beginning. Nature is starting to wake up. Nature's going on all the time, of course, even at nighttime. But it's like, yeah, the day is beginning. It's almost like my day is beginning. And it's a magical way to start a day. So take the time, get up early, set your alarm if you have to. My dogs usually wake me up early, so I didn't even have to set an alarm this morning. And I just came out and I watched the sunrise. And I encourage you to do that. Oh, it's going behind the clouds again. But we are getting clear skies, so it's going to be a nice day today. And even if we had rain today, it wouldn't matter because I got up to watch the sunrise and it just made my day even more special. So I encourage you, don't wait for those once-in-a-lifetime events. Make sunrises a regular part of your day, a regular part of your life. And you'll get that magic every special event, more often than just every 20 years or so, or once in a lifetime. Nature is all around us all the time, but we miss a lot of it. When was the last time you saw buds, blooming on a tree? Or geese, I just got 4 geese flying over me right now. Or watching the bluebirds. Take time out of your busy lives, take time out of your day, to watch these special events that happen all the time. But for many people, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing because they don't take the time to do it. They don't take the time to experience it. So get outside, experience nature as often as you can, and not just by tromping through the woods, not just by taking a hike, but actually by stopping and seeing things, experiencing it. Get up early, watch those sunrises. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Hopefully it's early in the morning for you too. Hopefully you're watching the sunrise. But if not, make a point to do it. And don't forget to rate and review the podcast. Invite your friends to join us on these magical experiences. And I also want to make sure you check out the show notes. I have all the links in the show notes to my merch if you want to support the podcast. Also the challenge. Yes, I do have a nature challenge for you to get out and do things like watching the sunrise, spending time out in nature. How much time can you spend in nature? But check out those show notes and invite more people to join us in nature. And I'd like to, above all, encourage you, keep exploring the nature around you. Thanks, and have a great day, and don't forget to watch those sunrises and sunsets.
Did you know that plastic is made with oil, a fossil fuel that pollutes the environment? And did you know that only about 15% of all plastic is recycled into new products? Wouldn't it be awesome if we could live our lives without plastic so that we could stop harming the planet? Well, there's a company that wants to help you do just that. Life Without Plastic sells products that will reduce or eliminate your dependence on plastic. They have a large selection from toothbrushes to food storage containers to drinking straws, all plastic free. And it's reasonably priced. So what are you waiting for? Check out all these great plastic-free products and help save the planet. Just click on the link in the show notes to find out more and to start your journey to being plastic-free.